Yeah, I built them. Recon Robot 6889-1 on Piron.com. It's a Spyrius, 1994. I don't know, 2 or 3 I've built of these already. I couldn't care. I mean, it's not that I don't like the robot. Actually, it's not as nice as his big brother. I like his big brother. You saw it sitting in my desk for the longest time until I cleaned up my desk. And of course, you can't tell now that I cleaned up my desk. But this is a worthy, cute, little tiny robot. It kind of reminds me of Johnny Five. I don't know if they purposely tried to, in some way, pay homage or mimic some of Johnny Five's look to it with the angles and stuff. But, and the whatever. But, I mean, it's not a direct replica of Johnny Five from, oh, what was that movie? I can't remember the name of it now. This second thing that goes to the memory, Johnny Five. It'll hit me at some point. But I remember seeing it. The first one was awesome. The second was, whatever. Money making. Just stuff like that always drove me nuts. Let's go off on this quick tangent. There are a few movies that they should have just left at 1. And I would want to say Back to the Future, because the first one was, and I've mentioned this many, many times, the first one was perfect as a movie. And again, I talked about the other day about the woman being the conquest and all that stuff. But in the end, Lorraine was a fantastic character. Like, they're all fantastic characters. The first one, I wouldn't have changed a thing. I wouldn't have. The second one was just a mean-spirited, not nice at all movie. But you got to the third one, which was fun again. Not as nearly as cohesive as the first one, but put the camera on and have horses. So it's fantastic. But Johnny Five, well, I can't, this is sad, I can't remember, Ali Sheedy and Steve Gutenberg. That it wasn't Weird Science, it was the other one. Oh my goodness. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It was a cute, for its time, it was a cute little movie, right? And there's a lot of people out there, by the way, if you go on the internets and look it up, there's a lot of people now, because the technology is really good now, that you can scratch build a Johnny Five in your house and have it working. So it's kind of neat that these people are building Johnny Five and they're fully, 1-to-1 scale, and it's working and blah, blah. But anyway, I have so many tangents about that. But you look at this guy, for how many pieces are in here? 150 pieces? It's a cute little set. No minifigs for this guy came, and I used up all my minifigs in my layout. So I'm looking over there. I thought I had some Spyrius guys that I could put with it, but I don't. It doesn't matter. Spyrius is not a set that I don't think I bought any new Spyrius sets off the shelf, and that includes the 6991. Because I already had the 6990 and a lot of extension packs for the 6990. Now, that said, I could build, and I have built 2 6991s already because of the various lots that I've got over. I'm really tired. Back in the scene. Or was that Unitron? Oh, sorry, that was Unitron. This is how tired my mind is. This is 699 was Unitron, not Spyrius. Spyrius didn't have monorail. Even the big guy I did not buy in the stores. I don't think I bought any Spyrius at all. As I mentioned, the Blacktron 1 complete, Space Police 1 complete, Blacktron 2 mostly complete except for the Alpha Centauri outpost. Space Police 2, I bought 1 Rebel Hunter. I wasn't interested at the time. I'm not saying I didn't have the funds for it. I was so busy buying used lots that I did not buy hardly any Space Police 2. My sister gave me, as I mentioned, an Ice Planet for Christmas a couple of years around there, 1 year around there. That was fantastic, and I loved Ice Planet, but again, I didn't buy any one new, but I got the one new for Christmas. And then RoboForce. Yeah, no, I did not buy any RoboForce off the shelf at all. So this guy, I remember seeing him, and I said, "Oh, it was like a cheap little set that you could buy." I wasn't buying new sets. It was my dark ages of buying new sets. What got me out of that dark ages, I would say, from Space Police 1, Mtron. Sorry, I've skipped right over Mtron. I bought all the Mtron. Mtron was so awesome, and I bought them all. So I would say in a week. I can't remember, but I remember going to the store, buy, buy, buy. Oh, the next time, buy, buy, buy. And I think I didn't even buy the Megacore Magnetizer last. I bought that one halfway through. I bought the oh, for crying out loud, my favorite one of the lot, the small flying ship, fantastic. Not the small little tiny one, but the spinny top one, the helicopter one. The mine goes at 3 a.m. Yes, it's 3 a.m. here. I couldn't sleep, and so I came down here because I had to build this. I had to feel complete. So I would say after Mtron and Space Police 2, I just really curtailed buying new sets. And I think so if talk about that for a sec. Huron, no, I want to go back to Lugnet, because Lugnet's the only place to go, because it's the best parts of let's just go to Mtron and see when those were released. Mtron came out, go away ads. 1991 Mtron, and then if we go to what was the other, Space Police 2, Blacktron 2, Blacktron, just hit Blacktron search, it's going to give me Blacktron 2, Blacktron 2, so 1991 for Mtron, and 1991, 1992 for Blacktron. So dropped precipitously down in 1991-92, buying new sets. During that time, I filled up my pickup truck driving up to Selkirk. During that time, I did a lot of garage sales, a lot of flea markets. The internet wasn't established yet, but I was using BBSs on my Commodore 64. And so I was still buying Legos from 1991. And again, there was a dry spell between 1991 and 1998. Let's see when the RCX set reference. RCX. I don't know if that's going to be a search that I can do. 1998 is when the RCX came out. So 7 years I did not buy. I may have bought a set off the shelf. I don't remember buying a set off the shelf between 1991 and 1998. But I was still avidly playing with Lego. I had my apartment with a spare bedroom that was full of Lego. I was building robots with my Commodore 64, blah, blah, blah. So, but for the life of me, I looked at Spyrius, I looked at Unitron, I looked at RoboForce, I looked at all of them, and I'm going, they didn't captivate me like the rest of the stuff behind me did. Now, again, a lot of cool pieces in here, and this thing actually now, retrospectively, I like Spyrius. I like Unitron. I will deal with RoboForce. And so I like them. I like them a lot. And of course, I have them all now because of all the used lots I collected. So I was by myself, the only Lego fan that I knew of back between 1991 and 1998 at my age. I would have been 30 in 1997. So full-time job, lots of money, cars, camping, scuba diving, literally all the time. It's like, as much as possible. But the Lego was always there, and I wasn't interested in new sets. It wasn't until the RCX that I got back into the stores to buy Lego parts, and then Lugnet. Lugnet happened, and then I started buying new sets again. Most of those sets that I bought after 1998 RCX in the past were sets that I was really interested in. I got the 8448 in there, the 4x4. Lego started releasing really cool Technic sets back. They've always released cool Technic sets, but in the early 2000s, really cool Technic sets. And then I started doing robot competitions with RTL Toronto, and then we started doing the display shows and blah, blah, blah. And then I would buy, most of my new sets were either something I was passionately interested in, like my second RCX and blah, 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 Robot Command Center, or sets on deep discount, which is where I got all my gutter track from and all my insectoids from. I got all my insectoids from deep discount on Shop at Home. I really did. I didn't buy any of the insectoids in the store, but I bought most. I bought most of them from the entire theme new in box, but I would get a box at my door from Shop at Home because they were in deep discount. When did insectoids come out? That's a good question, because Shop at Home had them insectoids. I think I spelled that right. Insectoids came out in, I want to say, 1998. There you go. So 1998. They came out. I didn't buy them in the stores at all. A year or two later, they were just on severe discount on Shop at Home. I bought 2 of the arachnid bases for, I can't remember, cheap. And then the hopper, the second biggest one, and whatever. And so I had insectoids. And I thought they were cool. I really did. And I still, to this day, a lot of people hate insectoids. I didn't buy any of the UFOs. Never bought one new UFO set off the shelf, even though I saw them and they looked reasonably cool that I would want them. I look at them now, they're a very good theme. And because I did all my reviews, I really like the UFO theme. I really do. It's different enough from the classic stuff and the M-Trons, whatever, to make it distinct, even though it's all the same. Trans neon green, which they released across 3 or 4 themes, but it was different enough, looked different enough that whoever made a cohesive, and this is the one thing I loved about UFO, is that all the sets seem to be cohesively together as a theme, just like the original 1978 Classic Space. There was 1981 and after in Classic Space. The only time I mentioned this so many times is the 6890 and the 6980 look the same. White wings, trans dark blue, and brick blue bodies, and the wing shapes with the gaps. They only made those 2 sets, unlike the original where you had 918, 924, 928. And so every other subsequent Classic Space, the 1986, 1987, some of them sort of matched. They're kind of blue, sometimes kind of white, sometimes kind of gray, sometimes trans green, trans yellow, trans dark blue. There was no cohesiveness to Classic Space. And then not until Futuron showed up did the entire theme, of course it was just a few years instead of like almost a decade, that the color scheme was built into it across the board. White and black and trans dark blue. Fantastic. Now, again, my friend Dave and I discussed Futuron. I like Futuron. I bug him a lot. I actually like Futuron because it came with the monorail. So, but then from Futuron, which seemed to be a fantastic base skeleton to build stuff off of, because everything seemed to be bones, not fleshed in with panels and stuff. Everything was hollow and open overall. Then you get into Blacktron, which just knocked the doors off of making a cohesive theme. A cohesive theme across the 3 or 4 sets that were released that year. The first 3, Renegade, Invader, and the Vladtrax, perfect together. And then Message Intercept Base, which used the same color scheme and says it was Blacktron, but at no point can you interface the Message Intercept Base with any of the sets from before. And these sets are modularized, and the Message Intercept Base was not. so they whatever. And it wasn't until Blacktron 2 when the base also became modularized, where you could plug the cockpits into whatever. So I like how they tried to incorporate in all subsequent themes from Classic Space a theme and a cohesiveness to all the sets. But UFO knocked that out of the park, I think. If you line up all the UFO sets, they seem like they were built by the same manufacturing company in universe, and it was fantastic, or designed by the same designer. You can't say that about, well, you kind of can't say about M-Tron overall. The stellar ship, the big ship, it was disappointing. It really was. It was very disappointing. That's the weakest one in that entire series, the big ship. The Megacore Magnetizer by far compensates by that because it's in my top 5 favorite sets of literally all time that Lego's ever put out. The Megacore Magnetizer is just such a fantastically awesome, big, bulky vehicle that has so much playable features in it, and it looks awesome up close and from a distance and from almost literally every angle. The Megacore Magnetizer is just fantastic, and that theme overall looks like it was designed by the same architect in universe. Blacktron 2, fantastic, all fit together. Fantastic job doing that. Yeah, so those kind of things I've admired, and as I say, UFO, I didn't buy any. I saw them in the stores because I still looked in the stores. I just didn't buy any sets in the stores. I always walked through Toys R Us or Zellers at the time and say, oh, those are what we have now, and blah blah. But I said from 1991 to 1998, I don't remember. I may have, but I do not remember buying one set from the store. But I also remember vastly expanding, getting duplicates and triplicates and quadruplicates of sets I already had. And a lot of old sets, a lot of 70s pieces, a lot of 80s pieces, a lot of 4.5 volt motors that were in the trains and stuff like that, yellow, blue, black. I have a whole bin, I think, of 15, 20 of those motors in there. And then the 4.5 volt stuff, the gray motors and the C-size battery boxes. That's what I was collecting at garage sales, at flea markets, putting the ad in the paper. That's what I was getting from those ads. Nothing in the past 5 or 7 years of the time of the ad, but a lot of previous, from the 90s, a lot of 80s and 70s stuff, and even some 60s stuff, which is what I was looking for, and I still do, by the way. Which where this one came in because I saw Blacktron in it, because I saw Classic Space in it. Those are the sets I buy. And a good friend of mine sent me a picture of a lot that he just got, which would be one of those, which would be a lot that I would move, here's my quoting, that I would move heaven and earth for. If that was anywhere in my area, oh yes, I will drive to Thornhill. Yes, I will drive to Fort Erie. Yes, I will drive to wherever to get that specific lot. It was a fantastic lot. It had Technic, it had Classic Space, it had Space Police, it had Space Police 2 in it. It was a wonderful lot. I don't know how much, I don't want to know how much to be for it, but he wanted it, and I said, absolutely, I would have bought that lot, straight up. I'm happy he got it because he's a good friend, and I know he's excited, and he's basically saying the same thing I do. Oh, this is a repeat. Don't care. You know, some people have talked to me in the past about, Dave, why do you like, I have 3 or 4 of these now, and I could build, like, literally, I could build this just by going, and you get at my collection. Some sets I couldn't build, like I can't build another one of these until I get red antennas. But this one, I would safely guess, and I think the limiting factor is this front cover hatch. I do know I have at least one more in the bag, the black bag with all the printed parts in it. So I could build at least one more of these right now. Because the rest of the parts are, I won't say ubiquitous in my collection, but they are pretty standard. As a matter of fact, did I leave it out here or did I take it back? When I was getting because this little slope piece with the printing on it in there wasn't in the lot. Get my finger on it right there. That's what the little robot face made out of yellow dots or whatever color they were. I got 12 of those slopes. So, I mean, they came in Spyrius sets. So there's nothing in this robot that's unique to the robot that I don't have, right? I got millions of these guys. As a matter, I was actually thinking about making this Nice Planet colors, because that's fun. I just still may make this Nice Planet colors. I'll see, and give it to my friend Dave. I'm so glad, and again, things that drift through my mind because my mind's addled as it is. When I was building the Ice Planet copy of whatever Spyrius set, that I can't remember, Unitron set, the one that pops apart and then the little vehicle comes out. I Ice Planet made that into the Ice Planet color scheme, and the entire time I said, "Ooh, I'm gonna give it to my buddy Dave." Can't wait to give it to him. So I like doing stuff like that. I actually talked to, we were at dinner tonight, Lego dinner. A lot of people were there, it was nice. But future state for me, I'm going to keep on finding these lots, and should I choose to buy them, I'm going to keep on making these videos where I reconstitute, these things. Not you, because that's my original. So I built these 4 from this lot, and I think that's already worthy, and I still have all these other parts left over that I'm going to roll into the collection, have extra parts for whatever else I want to build. Remarkably, so just to wrap this up at 20 minutes, remarkably good condition parts. Remarkably good condition parts. Very happy about that. The parts that are missing, and that's part of the reconstitution and finding out that you have missing parts. Also, the idea that I have to make a bricklink order soon makes me happy. So, in the end, I can't complain. These 4 sets reconstituted with the few that I had to pull from the pieces that I had to pull from my collection, because each one of these I had to get pieces from my collection. As I mentioned, a lot of gray pieces were like 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8 gray pieces were missing from the X1. About 20-ish pieces from here were missing, a few pieces from here were missing, and a few pieces from here were missing. Actually, this one had most of the pieces in there, but I think I had to grab at least a dozen, which isn't not bad. But right now, if I wanted to, and I look at the Bricklink average price, or lower than average price, the price I could sell these 4 sets for would more than cover the cost of the lot that I purchased, and I get all the other parts. And again, I'm not planning on selling these things right now. But as I said at dinner, we were talking about it, and I said, I do want to, and I honestly do want to, and I don't know how I'm going to do it. Go to the show with all my bins and put everything out on the table and have some sort of big, huge diorama of space, parts and pieces and sets. I don't have a specific time and or place and or opportunity in mind, but I do want to do that because they are sitting in the garage, and I talked about this last year. They are sitting out there in bins and just sitting there, and some of that stuff's been sitting there for years, and it's haven't seen the light of day in the 21st century probably. So it's like, yeah, I do have to do something about it, because downsizing is something. I shipped off some parts last week to friends. I hope they get there because it's a long road getting from there to here. Yeah, so now I'm rambling. So that is it. I am not going to reconstitute any more sets from this lot, especially on the classic space side, because there's not enough parts in there for me to be interested. So that's it. That's all. I hope you enjoyed the long road to get to here. These 4 sets are fantastic. The parts, the pieces themselves are better than average. Some are mint, some are a little less than mint, but all of them are well above average. So I cannot complain at all about as I say, hardly any yellowing at all on the original classic space parts. And this is newer, and of course that's much newer, and this is a little bit newer. So yeah, it's all good. So you guys all stay safe, take care, and I will talk to you soon.